Utah, the 11th seed, the designated home team of the Whites. The traveling black for UCF, the designated visiting team, as Central Florida was 7-13. Big 12 play, and driving the lane, Darius Johnson is fouled. And 12 seconds into the game, it's on Mike Sharaf-Jomps of Utah.
And that's an area where we have to watch, Roxy. The one-on-one defense of Utah. That is why UCF won this game the first time. That and the turnovers they created. But the one-on-one defense, they couldn't keep UCF's guards in front of them.
UCF 16-15 overall. They've won 3 of their last 5 coming into the Big 12 tournament after a 7-game losing streak and the pull-up jumper by Niels Mahovsky.
Now that's just tough. You put it in the air because there's so much length on this Utah defense. You get the separation, put it up in the air. Mahovsky off to a good start.
He averages only 2.5 points a game. And the rebound grab by Dalen Debo Coleman for the Knights.
Oh my.
The crossover. And missing at the rim. Keyshawn Hall attacking, but cleaned up by Mustafa Cham.
You know, another man who I think got shorted was Cham. I think Cham deserved to be on the first team all the freshman of the year. No, the freshman of the year.
Okay.
I think he was definitely should have been on that freshman of the year team.
First points for Utah coming from the Mongolian shark, Mike Sharaf-Jomps. And UCF, hot start continues.
All set up by Darius Johnson. His ability to get into the paint and kick to the open shooter. He's playing at a high level right now.
Niels Mahovsky has 5 of the 7 for Johnny Dawkins and the Knights. And Johnny Dawkins, his 9th year at UCF after 8 years at Stanford. A 2-time All-American from his playing days in the 80s at Duke. Assistant at Duke, and Johnny Dawkins won a couple of NIT championships and a Sweet 16 run when he was at Stanford. 320 career wins for Johnny Dawkins. Mike Sharaf-Jomps missing from deep, and the rebound grab by UCF and Mustafa Cham. Kick. Straight on. Darius Johnson missing a 3. And Utah crashing the defensive glass, and Keanu Dawes pulls it down. Lawson Lovering. And the matchup of the 7-footers, and the rebound pulled down by Mustafa Cham for the Knights. Debo Coleman mishandles it out of bounds. Turnover on UCF. And the interim coach for Utah, Josh Eilert, his 5th game as the Utah coach after Craig Smith was let go back on February 24th. It came as a surprise to so many people.
Yeah, it was interesting timing. Very interesting timing, but
Lawson Lovering darts to the basket, recovers after fumbling, and banks it in.
That's a great pass right there. He puts it in a spot where only Lovering can get the ball, and he goes up and scores. Great dime.
Josh Eilert, who was the interim coach at West Virginia previously, so he has some experience in this role. Sharaf-Jomps transition 3, and the offensive rebound. Lovering on a putback for Utah.
Second jump right there, Roxy. The offensive glass is an area in which you have to block out this Utah team because they are the 3rd tallest team in America behind Elon and Duke. So you have to put bodies on them to alleviate their offensive rebounding ability.
And the rebound grab by Gabe Madsen for Utah. And of the starters on the floor, Madsen's the shortest guy for Utah at 6'6". Their starting guards are 6'6" and 6'9".
Sheesh.
Madsen had his pocket picked at a steal for Darius Johnson. Transition 3 way off for Niels Mahovsky, and it's pulled down by Utah, and here comes Mike Sharaf-Jomps.
When you talk about their height, it can also be a disadvantage because when the game last time these teams matched up, and they really couldn't stay in front of anybody, but Sharaf-Jomps right there, off the pick and roll, dropping the dime. If there is no backside tag, you will see that time and time again. Utah I mean, they have the size, but they're able to see things. They are great passers. Their vision is on display at all times.
First lead for Utah, 6-0 run for the Utes. Step back three, Darius Johnson, and the rebound, Gabe Madsen for Utah. The Utes come in 16 and 15, having lost their last two as Jake Wally attacks the basket. Timeout UCF, and an 8-0 run for the Runnin' Utes to take the lead. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
You will see them on the rim time and time again.
They've assisted on 3 of their first 5 buckets. And Utah as a team this year leads the country in the highest rate as far as assists on made field goals. 67% of their buckets come off assists. They average 17.5 assists a game as a team. And they don't have one of those table setters, King, those true pass-first point guards. It's a collective effort from Utah.
I mean, you even see it from Lovering at 7-1. They'll run things through him. They'll get him at the elbow. They'll get him in the mid-post. And then they do a really good job. I mean, you talk about passing, they do a really good job moving without the ball. That's just as important.
Here's a three from the 7'2" freshman, Mustafa Cham, that goes out of bounds, and a turnover on the air ball to Utah.
Cham thinking that Lovering hit him on the hand or he got a piece of it. No, sir, he just missed that one.
UCF has missed their last 5 shots. Utah in the midst of an 8-0 run. Gabe Madsen tried to get free. And the all-time 3-point leader in Utah history. Air ball's been kept alive by the Utes, and it's now 12-7. First points for Keanu Dawes, getting to start in place of the injured Ezra Assad.
That's 5 offensive rebounds already for Utah. Pay attention to the glass.
Jordan Ivy Curry was a game-time decision, and he's in there for Johnny Dawkins tonight. He's missed the last couple of games for the Knights. Mike Sharif-Johnson left open, rims out a 3. Keanu Dawes on the offensive glass. The kick out, the reload. Gabe Madsen missing a clean look, and it's ripped down by Niels Mahosky for UCF. Stay at this end. The guys in black.
I like this substitution right here. Bringing in Vinny Williams, a player who is so active on the glass and who specializes. That's his one job, is rebounding the basketball. And that's what you need right now, especially when you look at how Utah has dominated on the offensive glass up to this point.
10 straight points for the Runnin' Utes. UCF has gone cold, and here's Keyshawn Hall looking to get on track. Step back from Hall. And that 3 pops out. The rebound, Keanu Dawes for Utah.
And right there, Hall had no driving lanes. You can tell that Utah put an extra emphasis on team defense, closing the gaps.
So Utah, who's lost 4 out of 5 after a sweep at home of Kansas and Kansas State. Then after the loss to UCF on February 23rd, it was the next day that Craig Smith was let go. Offensive rebound, Zach Keller, and a kick out. Mike Sharif-Johnson didn't get it off in time. And a turnover, shot clock violation committed by Utah.
Let's go back. Keyshawn Hall, we know he's one of the best scorers in the country. Look at where the help defense is. He has no clear angles, nothing easy, so he forces a step back 3, and he settles because he couldn't find a lane to drive.
It's been over 5 minutes without scoring for UCF. Keyshawn Hall drives. And he lost the ball going up, and it's Keanu Dawes pulling it down for Utah. Miro Little, who leads Utah in assists, but he traveled, took one extra step after catching the pass.
And that's the right call. He shuffled his feet before he put it down.
Little coming off a career high 21 against BYU. Hit 6 threes in Provo at the Marriott Center this past Saturday. Began his college career at Baylor. J.J. Taylor. Jordan Ivy Curry, a tough shot. Short on the 3, and the rebound falls to Zach Keller for Utah, and the drought continues.
And we're seeing UCF right now settle for long threes because they cannot get anything towards the rim due to the help defense. And oh my goodness, we see another one right there. Another dime. They move without the basketball as well as anybody in the country.
12 straight for Utah. Zach Keller with the slam. Off the foot of Darius Johnson, and it's Utah that comes away with it. Gabe Madsen to the bucket, gets tripped, and then may have taken a finger in the eye. Foul on UCF, but Utah taking control, King.
Utah showing their vision. Take a look at this. These young men drop dimes and make it look easy. Put the goggles on.
A 12-0 run for Utah and a 14-7 lead for interim coach Josh Eilert and the running Utes. And it's been ball movement. That's what Utah does. That's what, King, that's what they've been doing all season.
Man, when they share the ball, they're probably the best team in the Big 12, in my opinion, when it comes to sharing the basketball. And the fluidity of movement away from the ball is what I'm most impressed with. But UCF has to find a way to lock in and stay attached on the defensive side. And, oh, my goodness.
Keanu Dawes, the alley-oop off the inbound.
As soon as I said stay attached, underneath that of bounds is an area in which, if you switch, this team can definitely pick you apart.
14-0 run for Utah. And another assist.
I think this is time where Darius Johnson has to find ways to get into the lane and create offense for others like he did earlier on.
Benny Williams on a step through ends the drought for UCF.
That's tough. They send the double one-on-one in the post. Bring a second defender. He takes his time, and once again.
Jake Wallin. How did that go in?
Look at this passing. Baseline out of bounds. You have to stay attached. If you don't switch, Chom has to step up. You don't, you give away an easy dunk, and you will see this time and time again in Dawes. Elite level athlete, but not just a high flyer, a dime dropper too.
Everything at the rim for Utah, and a 10-point lead. 17-2 is the surge right now, as UCF had a drought of over 7 minutes. J.J. Taylor missing from deep, and Utah with the rebound.
I think right now, if you're UCF, you have to find ways. I was going to say back off to allow them to shoot the 3, because this is not a really good 3-point shooting team. I wouldn't be surprised. We saw in the first matchup, Johnny Dawkins went zone. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a zone come very, very soon for UCF.
In addition to the struggles shooting the ball, that's now 6 turnovers committed by the Knights.
Gotta value the basketball. Now, honestly, it was Jordan Ivy Curry, it was Darius Johnson in the first matchup that allowed them to get back into the ball game and get that lead.
Attacking inside, and the block, but a goaltend on Mustafa Chom. Give the bucket to Zach Keller.
If I'm Johnny Dawkins, I'm going into a zone right now, Roxy. You're not getting stops one-on-one. Everything is coming at the rim. At least in the zone, you have bodies in the rim, and you will force them to take threes. They're not a great 3-point shooting team. I would go zone if I'm Johnny Dawkins. They
will review it during the next timeout, by the way, because goaltending was called on the floor. It can be reviewed, as Miro Little called for the Utah foul. First on Little. sophomore from Finland. Benny Williams left it short, pulled down. Keanu Dawes another rebound. That's 7 rebounds for Dawes.
That's great one-on-one defense right there, not allowing any angles.
Travel. Zach Keller took an extra step. Keanu Dawes has been so active, getting the start in place of Ezra Asar. And we talked about what a significant loss, King. And it still may play out that way for Utah, but the way Dawes has started this game, he has stepped right in, and Utah's not missed a beat as Darius Johnson nails a 3.
And he has to be big. He's averaging 27 points in the last 4. If he does not step up and start to score, they don't have a chance in this game.
2-time honorable mention all Big 12. Miro Little fires from deep. That one rips out, but kept alive by Zach Keller. Taps it out for Utah. Off 1 foot, the step back, and the roll for Hunter Erickson.
That's pretty right there. But it's all because of a bad closeout. Because Utah's not a great three-point shooting team, you don't have to over-exert your closeouts and go that hard as we saw on that last one.
Zach Keller tips it out of bounds, and it stays with UCF at this end.
This right here. Johnson just puts it in the air and it drops straight in. And then Erickson, look at this, stop on a dime. Look, Dirk Nowitzki fadeaway right there. Drops in, that's a pretty bucket.
UCF jumped out to an early 4-point lead. And it's a 21-5 march for Utah since. Here's a 3 and a stroke. Mustafa Cham, who's a 30% three-point shooter for the 7'2" freshman from Senegal.
I'm a huge fan of Cham. Cham will play in the NBA, Roxy. He is an NBA player. His length, his shot blocking ability, he can step out and shoot the 3. He can switch on the guards. Cham will play in the NBA one day, and look at this. The stroke looks good. Spotting up, confident, high release, automatic money.
Second foul on Miro Little, but with more on Cham, he should still be in high school. He reclassified to come to UCF a year early. Last spring, it was a combined effort between Johnny Dawkins' staff and Cham, who had the academic credits to be able to do it. So he enrolled at UCF a year early. Off of that 3, the offensive rebound, and the putback, Tyler Hendricks.
I mean, for him to be the age that he is, give this young man a year or 2. Let him put on a little bit of weight. He is going to be a problem in the Big 12.
That one spins out, but Keanu Dawes a problem for UCF in this one. Dior Johnson down the lane, the lob, and Cham fouled at the rim. And free throws coming up for Cham. And it's on Zach Keller of Utah.
And that's a great find right there by Dior Johnson. He really didn't have the angle, but I thought he was about to throw it up there and shoot it. But he saw the pass, he saw the angle right there. And this is how you have to attack the rim against this Utah team with their length and their size. You have to go aggressive.
2 shots for Cham. And 1 more for the freshman, who has 6 to lead UCF. And this season, Cham setting the freshman season block shot record at UCF, which is saying something considering Taco Fall also played at UCF.
I mean, there's just no way we leave him off the freshman team. There's just no way we leave this young man off the freshman team. And as good as Jaden Quains was, he was injured a lot of the season. Cham played more games. Their numbers are extremely identical. But I think that because he played more games, Cham should have been on that all-freshman team.
Hey, Madsen, the kick out to Hunter Erickson. And a timeout with 3.9 on the shot clock to save the possession by Mike Shara-Joms. 25-18 Utah. We know him as the running Utes king. They're the Flying Utes tonight.
Because they are on the rim. I mean, there's so many dunks. You love to see it.
Forget the past. Face the present. Forge the future. This is Champ Week.
A look at the bracket for the Phillips 66 Men's Big 12 Championship. And the winner of our game will play Rock Chalk Jayhawk tomorrow night in the finale of day 2. Definitely interesting matchups. Iowa State, Cincinnati's a good one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Baylor, Kansas State. Scott Drew against Jerome Tang.
Just remember that.
Gabe Matson to the bucket, trying to beat the shot clock, missed the layup, and UCF the rebound.
Jerome Tang is 3-1 against Scott Drew. I mean to bring up records, but and you know Kansas State is going to have the home crowd. That'll be a very interesting one.
Is that hard for you because you're so close to both guys?
I mean, you want to see both of them do well. I went to Baylor, so typically I'm a Baylor guy at heart, but you always want to see Jerome Tang and anybody who you played for do well. Darius
Johnson glides to the bucket. Layup won't go. Keanu Dawes, already 9 rebounds for Dawes. Lawson Lovering missing the floater, and it's punched out by UCF to Darius Johnson. 3-on-2 for the Knights. Transition, and a foul as Keyshawn Hall is clobbered.
And Dawes is doing a really good job of filling in for Assar and doing what Assar typically would do for this Utah team. He's really stepped up tonight.
Keyshawn Hall looking again on the score chart tonight as leading the Big 12 in scoring this year. The 3rd player in Big 12 history to lead the league in scoring and not be a first-team all Big 12 selection. And he was a little ticked off by it.
He didn't like that. You saw on Instagram, he wasn't a huge fan, and I think he has as good of a case as anybody. He should have been on the first-team ballot. I mean, it's unacceptable that this young man, the way that he played, the way that he performed, one of 2 players this year to drop 40. He produced night in, night out, and to not be on a 10-team, all first-team Big 12 is inexcusable, and he should have been on there. And I can give you a few names of who shouldn't been, who he could have replaced, but he should have been on there.
Lawson Lovering, the offensive rebound and put back. And the other 2, besides Hall, that didn't make first team, leading the Big 12 in scoring, Corey Carp, Texas Tech back in the mid to late 90s. Then Pierre Jackson, who played at Baylor.
Pierre Jackson is a bad man. And I want to say he might have led the conference in assists that year too. Don't quote me, but I want to say based off the Baylor history that I know.
Again, the interior passing for Utah, and Lawson Lovering is fouled. And it's on Mustafa Cham.
Lovering does a really good job when he catches it in the paint. He knows he's not the most athletic guy, especially going up against a shot blocker like Cham. But he does a really good job taking his time, being patient, and being able to score in different ways.
This has been an adventure for Lovering this year. See the percentage on free throws this year. And one more for Lawson Lovering, who began his college career at Colorado. Lovering has 8 points to lead Utah. One more free throw for the 7-1 senior from Cheyenne, Wyoming. He goes 1 for 2. 8-point lead for Utah. They've led by as many as 12. Foul on the drive committed by Utah. That's something you highlighted, King, was having trouble with the dribble penetration and trying to contain UCF at the point of attack.
And when I talked to Josh Eilert before the game, I said, what is the key to victory? He said team defense. He said we're not great one-on-one defenders, so we have to collectively close the gaps and be able to get stops as a team, not one-on-one.
Mike Sharif-Jones stumbles, was tripped, and a foul will result in team foul number 4 on UCF. The question of, was he in the act of going up for the shot at the time? And yes, he was. It'll be 2 free throws for Mike Sharif-Jones. First on Keyshawn Hall.
And that was nice right there. Fake ball screen, saw Keyshawn Hall's arm, gets the ball over the arm. Sharif-Jones.
Like his dad, the first Asian to play for the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Rattles out for Sharif-Jones. Native of Mongolia, the first Mongolian to play Division I college basketball.
That's a really cool stat. That's a really cool thing to do. Be the first out of your country to be able to play Division I. That's really, really cool.
Here's a 3 on the way, too strong from Keyshawn Hall, kind of like Norchad Omier, who's the first from Nicaragua.
See, I didn't know that either. Look at Roxy over here dropping gems. You were in your bag today, Roxy.
Well, it's the tournament at the end of the year. I got to empty it. Turnover by Utah. Here comes UCF and Jordan Ivy Curry. Pull up 3 in transition. Rattles for Tyler Hendricks.
They need that one. They need that one bad. UCF has to find ways to have that same effective dribble penetration that they had in the first game.
Darius Johnson nearly had a steal. Then Lawson Lovering can't keep it alive, out of bounds, and it belongs to UCF.
Get in transition, get stops, get out in transition. Good defense leads to easy offense. And if you can get an open transition 3, I know Johnny Dawkins is going to take this all day, every day.
Is it a good sign for UCF, King, that Johnson and Hall have combined for just 5 points, yet they're only down 5 late in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at Curry, too, same thing. None of their guys have gotten going, and they're still barely losing, and that's a big shot by Curry. And he was a big, big player in the first matchup, with just being able to create offense one-on-one. And we have to see more of that tonight, and we haven't seen it, but you're right. That's a really good sign.
Gabe Madsen fouled on a 3. And 3 shots for the all-time 3-point leader in Utah history.
Look at Ivy Curry on this last bucket, getting his feet set like Steph Curry.
No relation, by the way, in case you were wondering. Madsen an 86% foul shooter. That one rolls in. But if you're Utah, you also look at it, King, that this has been a good 3-point shooting team. At times, Utah this year, they're 0 for 9 from 3, yet they're winning by 4.
And that's why I just don't understand why UCF doesn't force Utah to keep shooting threes. To take away what we're seeing, take away the penetration, take away the backdoor cuts, just clog the lane, make Utah beat you from deep. Everybody except Madsen, I'm forcing to shoot a 3. I'm taking away from Madsen because we know how lethal he can be when he can heat up from behind the arc. But everybody else, you're going to have to show me that you can knock down a 3, especially when you are 0 for 9 right now from deep.
Madsen had 23 in the first matchup with UCF, and a foul is Keyshawn Hall moving into the lane, and that's the 3rd foul on Miro Little. 3:55 left in the half, Utah up 5. star courtside with me. And Utah up 5 on UCF. And the head coach of UCF, a former star himself, Johnny Dawkins. Still a star while he's coaching.
2 back-to-back Duke greats. Hurley and Dawkins?
Yeah. One more for Keyshawn Hall. 3 points now for Hall. Just inside 4 minutes to go. Missed the second, and another rebound. That's 10 first-half rebounds for Keanu Dawes.
And we see the zone. They finally poured out the zone.
They listened to you.
They finally poured out the zone. You have to, because Utah's not shooting it well from deep. And they only lasted for a little bit. They started off in the zone to slow you down, give a different look, give some confusion. Then they go into man.
There's a mismatch down low if they can get it to Keller, and it's poked away by Darius Johnson. Shot clock rolling down as Keanu Dawes missing for the outside. Keyshawn Hall pulls it down for UCF. Benny Williams gets inside. Nearly finished it.
Oh my.
Even though it didn't go, that was impressive.
That was still impressive.
And a foul off the ball. It's on Tyler Hendricks, his second.
Let's go back to this defensive possession, because this is what you want to see out of your senior guard. Look at how he's fighting, not allowing any post position by Keller, not going for that, gets a tip on the ball, and as a result, you get a contested 3 and you get a stop. That is the level of effort that UCF needs on the defensive side.
While we were throwing the accolades around, I'd be remiss. I have to mention my daughter. King, it's her 18th birthday today.
Wow, what's her name?
Berkeley.
Happy birthday, Berkeley.
18 today. I've got another adult in my house.
Wow, how does that make you feel?
Old. Keanu Dawes!
You're not old, Roxy. Once again, you're only as old as you feel. I know you feel good. You sound good.
And
you look good.
Next year, she might be at a Big 12 school. She's looking at TCU. She got accepted there. Colorado, Arizona, ASU.
Oh.
Yeah, she's got options.
Speaking
of options, Jordan Ivy Curry, a great option for Johnny Dawkins.
And we love options, and if Ivy Curry can get going, that's just another option for UCF.
Zach Keller. And he's fouled before he goes up for the shot. That'll be a 1-and-1 for Utah.
Keanu Dawes is just a high flyer. If you gamble, he will make you pay. You have to front that right there if you're Ivy Curry. And on the other side, he gets it back, though. Trades that 2 for a 3.
1-and-1 for Zach Keller. Just a 39% foul shooter. Zach Keller looks over and says, take that, gas bag. I can make free throws. That's 5 for Keller. Utah's a team struggling from the line. And the second one crawls over the top. But Utah, despite being 5 for 10 from the line, 0 for 10 from 3, they lead UCF by 4.
And defensively, they've been really good. Offensively, they've been solid, but defensively, they've been really, really good. And Ivy Curry starting to heat up. And this is very similar to the first matchup. Utah had a lead. Ivy Curry comes into the game, gives them an offensive boost, because you know he can get hot. You know he's a prolific scorer. And he sees a few go in. You are being for a very long night.
2 threes for Jordan Ivy Curry, who missed the last couple of games. And when he was out, Johnny Dawkins was missing that third option. After Keyshawn Hall and Darius Johnson, they needed a third scorer. And that's what Jordan Ivy Curry does for UCF.
I mean, he just demands that level of attention. Like, even if he isn't scoring, Roxy, just him being out there allows you to have basically get rid of an extra defender, because you can't help off of him, because you know on the catch, as soon as he touches it, he's lethal enough to just let it go. And he has very, very deep range. So it alleviates a help defender when Curry is out there.
UCF 6 for 16 from 3. Teams are getting it done in different ways. Utah inside, UCF from the outside. Hanging, and a tough shot goes for Darius Johnson.
That's something Darius Johnson does so well. And I didn't have it in my game, but the ability to be able to jump off 2 feet. I was more of a 1-foot jumper, but if you can come to 2 and jump into the defender's chest, it makes you so hard to guard attacking the basket.
It's good to know one of us at the table can jump.
What was your vertical, Roxy?
Hunter Erickson, the first 3 for Utah.
Let's get over my question.
Maybe over a book. And I said that maybe. Minute left in the half. Way off is Darius Johnson, but UCF grabs an offensive rebound. The elbow jumper from the 7-2, Mustafa Chong.
He just has such great touch. No matter where he is, behind the arc, the mid-range, around the rim. I mean, at 7-2, we don't see guys with his feel for the game that often.
It's smooth.
It's super smooth.
Gabe Madsen gets free. Shot jumps the follow slam.
And you got to stop. Got the shot clock down. Got the missed three-pointer, but you have to finish it with the block out.
UCF can play for the last shot of the half. Entertaining first 20 minutes. Final game of the day, day 1. Keyshawn Hall, 3! That'll take us to halftime, and a huge lift for UCF going to the locker room.
Oh. First half, then they switched into man. Let's see if they do the same thing. They're staying in it. Oh.
Jake Wallin fires from the corner. And the rebound there is Keyshawn Hall for UCF.
And that's what you have to do. You have to bait Utah into taking those shots, taking those threes.
After not starting the game and being questionable coming in, Johnny Dawkins didn't know if he'd have Jordan Ivy Curry tonight. He is starting the second half for the Knights. Shot clock winding down on UCF to the basket, and the lay-in Darius Johnson, and the first lead for UCF since it was 7-6.
And that's the dribble penetration right there that we talked about early on. One-on-one, you have to be able to stay in front of the basketball and rely on your team defense if you get beat. But Utah allowing Darius Johnson to get wherever he wants.
Mike Sharp jumps the pull-up jumper, perusing the floor.
And they're going under every single ball screen because they're not known as shooters.
Baseline jumper, Keyshawn Hall for UCF.
That corner 3 at the end of the first half, I think it got Keyshawn Hall going. Let's see his aggression. Let's see how he comes out.
Balanced scoring for the Knights. Keanu Dawes had a huge first half, swatted by Mustafa Chong. Transition for the Knights. 3 on the way, Jordan Ivy Curry. Timeout, Utah. Great start to the second half, and the carryover from the end of the first half for UCF.
When you get stops and when you have a man like that, you can get on a run easily, and Ivy Curry letting it fly from deep. UCF has taken the lead, and how have they done that? They went to zone in the second half, and let's take a look at this possession. Look, when you are in zone, the first half, Utah was able to pick them apart because there was a bunch of freedom of movement. They were able to drop dimes. But look, when you're in zone, you're automatically in help. The backside slides over. And when you're able to get stops and clog the lane, that allows you to get easy offense in transition. But when you're in zone, Roxy, the lane is automatically clogged. There's no freedom of movement, and you're automatically in help when you're in zone.
And UCF also has been getting it done on the offensive end. They had the flurry late in the first half. In fact, they've made 10 of their last 13 shots back to the first half. Highlighted by the Keyshawn Hall 3 right before halftime. Mike Sharp jumps getting inside, but the miss. Belongs to UCF. Keep in mind, Utah playing without Ezra Assar tonight. It was a game-time decision for Josh Eilert, the interim coach for Utah. He was injured against BYU this past Saturday night.
And this is interesting now. So Utah are reciprocating the energy and going 2-3.
And the rebound, Jake Wallin had it knocked away, and the arrow belongs to UCF. And the scrappiness gets another possession for the Knights. Here's Darius Johnson inside and finishing. Mustafa Chum for UCF. Largest lead of the game for the Knights. Jake Wallin steps out to the corner, missing a three. And the rebound, Darius Johnson, UCF.
When you're in a zone, your guards have to put an extra emphasis on rebounding. Rebounding in a zone is one of the hardest things to do, Roxy, because you don't have a man.
Second foul, Jake Wallin.
Let's take a look at this underneath out of bounds. Watch Darius Johnson. This is one of the hardest plays to guard. You throw it to Chom and you immediately go into a dribble handoff, and they confuse you on the backside tag because Jarm Jobs is having to run from the baseline to the three-point line. And if you don't take away the backside tag, get an easy bucket, and Darius Johnson makes a good decision.
And it's raining threes right now for the Knights. 10-0 run. Largest lead for UCF. Utah in desperate need of a bucket as Mason Madsen, the twin brother of Gabe, checks in for Utah. Here is Mason Madsen, a running hook, rattles out. And UCF the rebound. Keyshawn Hall draws the foul, and King, it looks like UCF has found their game offensively.
They found their rhythm. And look at this right here. You get confused. You leave a good shooter like Darius Johnson open, he will make you pay.
2 shots for Keyshawn Hall. 3 for 4 from the line. And 1 more for Hall, the leading scorer in the Big 12.
And if you notice, Roxy, the offense for Utah in this second half does not look the same. They can't move. They can't, backdoor cut because there's nowhere for them to do that. With UCF playing this zone, I think that's a very smart coaching adjustment right there by Johnny Dawkins.
12-0 run for the Knights.
Utah has to find an answer. Play through the middle of the zone.
Utah was up 1 at the half. Keanu Dawes rattles out, missing the putback. Mason Madsen, here come the Knights again. Darius Johnson in the 7-2. Mustafa Chum runs the floor and draws the foul. It is all UCF right now.
They are playing well. They are just have UCF struggled. Second half, they have just been on fire, sharing the basketball, getting stops on the defensive side, which leads to transition buckets, pick and roll action. I mean, everything has just been going the way that Johnny Dawkins wanted. And they're playing exceptional basketball right now.
5 for 6 from the floor in the second half for UCF. They have made 9 threes in the game. Where on the other side, Utah's just 1 for 15 from 3. And the balanced scoring led by Jordan Ivy Curry. And Johnny Dawkins wasn't sure if he was going to have Jordan Ivy Curry tonight.
I like this substitution right here by Eilert. You get Little, Erickson, and Madsen in the game together. You have a 3 smaller guard lineup. The reason why is because you want more ball movement. You want people who can get into the creases of the zone and try to get into the paint and attack and kick out for good shots. They haven't been getting good offensive possessions since UCF went into the zone. But with this smaller guard lineup, I think they might have a little bit of success.
Hunter Erickson stepping out, short on the 3. He's got the only made 3 for Utah in the game. And that goes out of bounds to the Knights. The UCF team that trailed by as many as 12. And UCF already this year has 5 wins when coming back from a double-digit deficit as Keyshawn Hall glides in.
Ooh, the explosion right there. The between cross into the finish over 2 defenders. That was nasty.
I got your second team all Big 12 right here is what he's saying. Mason Madsen had a good look. Miro Little tracks down the loose ball, and Utah keeps it alive. Keanu Dawes trying to power his way in, draws the foul, the second on Mustafa Chong.
Let's take a look at this Keyshawn Hall bucket. One-on-one, he is so tough to guard. Look at the crossover. Look at the one dribble explosion to the rim. Yank, snatch. Lovering, nothing over there. Hall getting to the cup, making it look easy.
Dawes is 71% foul shooter, the transfer from Rice. And one more shot for Dawes, who grew up in Salt Lake City before he moved to Houston when he was in the 7th grade. His parents living in the Salt Lake City area moved, but his grandparents stayed in Salt Lake City. And they were Utah season ticket holders. And Keanu was going to games up on the hill there when he was a kid with his grandparents. Jordan Ivy Curry and 1. Absorbing the contact, the foul on Hunter Erickson, but big shot from Jordan Ivy Curry.
Look at how hard, the degree of difficulty of this shot. Look at the move. The fake crossover into the step back to rise over the defender. Get the and 1 bucket. Ivy Curry, let him see one go in. He can heat up quickly.
85% foul shooter, 7th in the Big 12 in foul shooting. And he gets a 3-point play. And Ivy Curry has 14 off the bench. And all of a sudden, it's an 18-1 run for UCF, and they're up 16. Hunter Erickson draws a foul.
We've seen back-to-back possessions for Utah. Just putting their head down, trying to seek out the contact and get to the free throw line.
Erickson, an 89% foul shooter. And the senior from Provo, who began his college career at BYU, was there for 2 years, then went to Salt Lake Community College, and now at the University of Utah. Utah, though, just 1 for 11 from the floor in the second half.
They're like going to the rival school. It's just a thing that's really frowned upon. So the whole BYU-Utah rivalry, I heard that they really get down out there in Utah.
Well, he's not the only one on this Utah roster. Caleb Lohner, who hasn't played yet tonight.
Oh my God, Caleb Lohner,
yeah, from Baylor, but he started at BYU, went to Baylor, went to Utah this year, played football for Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah.
And then playing hoops for the Running Utes. And the crazy thing about Caleb Lohner is way back when he initially signed his letter of intent out of high school to go to Utah.
Look at this. Oh.
Almost to the megaphone.
Almost.
Jordan Ivy Curry was way off with that one. Utah looking to run. Miro Little in transition. Little to the basket, and he had a shot blocked. Back the other way. Bucket hanging. Keyshawn Hall.
That was such great defense on the other side by Darius Johnson. He guessed on where Miro Little was going. He guessed correctly and forced him into a tough layup, which ended up in an easy dunk. But this UCF team is rolling on both sides of the basketball. Good defense, slows them up. Good awareness to see Keyshawn Hall leaking out.
Who says cherry picking doesn't pay?
I don't think it was intentional cherry picking. It just happened so fast, and he just so happened to get back there.
20-1 run for UCF, starting to take control here in the second half. And the winner of our matchup will get Kansas to wrap up day 2. We'll start tomorrow, the early game, 12:30 Eastern on ESPN. It'll be Iowa State and Cincinnati, followed by the 8th seed West Virginia against the 16th seed Colorado that upended TCU. Third game tomorrow, the King McClure matchup, Baylor against Kansas State, and then Kansas will wrap up the day against either UCF or Utah.
And we're in for a good day of hoops. I mean, there's some really high-level matchups. I'm really looking forward to that Iowa State-Cincinnati game. That'll be a very intriguing one. And that Baylor-Kansas State game is another one that could be sneaky good.
Where is Utah going to get the offense? Mike Sharp jumps, rims out a 3. And the struggles continue for Utah. They've missed their last 10. Darius Johnson, the quick dart to the basket.
And that right there is what Coach Eilert was talking about. One-on-one defense, keeping somebody in front of you. The penetration for UCF, the guards' ability to create offense off of the bounce is on full display.
Much needed for Utah. Zach Keller stops the bleeding for the time being with an and one as he converts down low.
And this is huge right here. Good patience, don't rush it. Defender jumps in the air, go through the contact, get the and one.
Barely hits the front rim from Keller. And the loose ball, a tie up, the arrow belongs to Utah. Josh Eilert, who has only been in Utah for about 8 months, had that experience at West Virginia, 17 years at Morgantown. He played at Kansas State, and last year was 9-23 as the interim at West Virginia. Gabe Madsen is bumped. Second foul on Darius Johnson. Team foul number 4 on UCF. Sharp jumps. Keanu Dawes. He's had a terrific night for Utah.
He's played so well, and we're seeing the versatility. And he's really more of a post player that can really step out and be that stretch forward. But right there, off of the dribble, taking a guard one-on-one, he's about as athletic as they come in this league.
He's had 3 double-doubles in the last 5 games. Jordan Ivy Curry finds Benny Williams underneath, and he is fouled. (63-47) UCF and Utah trying to keep their season going to wrap up the first night of the Big 12 Men's Basketball Championship in Kansas City. Men's Basketball Championship, and Utah partaking for the first time here at the Big 12 tournament after many years hanging out in Vegas at the Pac-12 tournament. Josh Eilert and the Utes, who led by 1 at the half, and then led by as many as 12 in the first half of this game.
Haven't really been able to find a rhythm in this second half due to the UCF zone, but they need answers, and they need them quickly.
Benny Williams missing both. 13th rebound for Keanu Dawes tonight. As Utah playing without Ezra Asar. It's been a vital part of this team, especially late in the year. Jake Wallin finds a cutting Keanu Dawes.
And that's what we saw in the first half. They get to the lane, they move without the basketball, and they're able to find their teammates and be extremely unselfish.
6 straight for Utah. Kick stays with UCF.
Let's take a look back, because this is what we have not seen much in the first half. If you get lost, if you get caught ball watching, they automatically know to cut back door.
And I've noticed subtle differences the way Josh Eilert is running things from when Craig Smith was coaching his team. Rotation's a little bit different as Darius Johnson gets to the bucket for UCF. And maybe his stamp, but let's face it, you've only been the interim head coach for a couple of weeks. It's not like you can do that much to change things. Mustafa Cham hustling for UCF. Jake Wallin in transition. Wallin foul. So Craig Smith was let go at Utah on February 24th. And talking to Josh Eilert yesterday,
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly, it was interesting timing, to say the least. I was shocked when I heard the news, but very interesting timing. But just imagine Eilert going in there, hearing the news, saying, what, another year again?
And keep in mind with his Utah team, it's more than just Craig Smith. The connection with the Smith family. His son Brady is still a walk-on this team. His son Landon is still the director of ops for Utah basketball. So it certainly is an interesting dynamic surrounding the Utah program.
Maybe a little awkward, right? Maybe a little bit, but nonetheless, they still have a job to do, and that's, I'm sure that's how Craig Smith raised them, to finish the job out and do what they're supposed to do.
They've continued with their role, embraced being a part of this team. And they're going to continue until whenever the season ends. For Utah's one more shot for Keyshawn Hall. And again, Josh Eilert has experience in this role. Now, when he took over at West Virginia, it was over the summer when that coaching change was made. And Bob Huggins, his mentor, was let go. Here in Utah, it's not like he has a long history with this program. As he just came here this summer as an assistant, he had a long relationship with Craig Smith. But then comes to Utah and Salt Lake City in the summer. And then here at the end of February, he's taken over as the interim head coach. Keanu Dawes will get to the line.
I'm a huge fan of Keanu Dawes. I think the way that he competes on offense, on defense, I'm a huge fan of this young man.
And Utah, by the way, has already hired their next coach. They're not searching for one. They've got one. As they hired Alex Jensen, currently an assistant with the Dallas Mavericks, but a former Utah player, and that's received favorably among the Utah basketball community to bring Alex Jensen back. And one more shot for Dawes. He nails both, and Utah trying to push back into this game. And I was texting with the current head coach of the Mavs, Jason Kidd. I asked him, what's the #1 quality you like about Alex Jensen being a part of your staff and that you're losing? And Jason texted me, he said he's always prepared. He knows the stuff, he is always on point. And on top of it, Jason threw in, Alex Jensen is a great human being.
Slight flex right there. I was just texting Jason Kidd the other day, chopping it out with him. Jason Kidd hit me back. Slight flex right there, Roxy. But I mean, that's high praise,
my
though.
College buddy, I gotta play it out.
But that's high praise right there. I mean, one of the greatest point guards that we've ever seen in this game. Be able to say that another guy knows his stuff. Oh my goodness.
And Keanu Dawes is fouled again after Miro Little forcing a turnover.
You know, I trust Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd says that somebody knows their stuff. Best believe they know their stuff, because Jason Kidd knew his stuff at the highest level. And I love the way Dawes attacks the rim every single possession.
2 shots for Dawes, 15 points, 13 rebounds. Dawes 3 for 4 from the line. When you're Utah and you're looking up at the scoreboard, King, 9:42 to go, you're now down 13. If Dawes hits this, you get to 12. How are you mapping out the rest of the game?
Well, one of the hardest things to do when you're on the verge of a comeback, you know, over 16, 18 points, is to cut it from double digits to single digits. I mean, that's a hump that you have to get over, because psychologically, I mean, common sense says it's you know, the score is less. But psychologically, when you're on the court, to finally cut it to single digits gives you a whole different perspective, because now it's a 3-possession ball game compared to 4 or 5. And I think that you have to do it one stop at a time. It starts on the defensive side. Don't worry about your shots, but you have to continuously get stops on defense like we just saw.
Sham missed in the rim, and Utah comes away with it. Miro Little, transition 3, and they've got it to single digits. Timeout UCF, as the Utes have come storming back on a 7-0 run. They were down 20. It's now a 9-point game.
And they finally cut that lead from double digits to almost single digits. It's 11 still. But look at the defense to offense right here. Miro Little getting his hand on the ball, and his last name is Little, but that's a big shot.
Just the second 3 for Utah tonight. They're now 2 for 19 from deep. Led by the double-double, Keanu Dawes, 17 points, 1 off a career high. He has a career best 13 rebounds in the game.
Oh, wait, that is a 9-point game. I can't do math. It's past my bedtime, Roxy.
That's what you're blaming it on?
That's a single digit. That's a 9-point game. I don't know why I thought it was an 11-point game. That's a 9-point game. My fault, people.
Scott Drew just threw something at his TV going, come on, King, we taught you better than that.
Blame it on the Baylor education, man. Just kidding. Baylor's a great school. Baylor's an amazing school.
I was just there Saturday night. What an environment. Foster Pavilion's awesome.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah. He did a phenomenal job.
It's incredible.
Darius Johnson. Mustafa Chump, pass across. 5 to shoot, going inside a foul. Will get Keyshawn Hall to the strike.
You know, we had a man in the earlier game, Jihad, that knows how to get to the free throw line. And I think that's one of Keyshawn Hall's strengths, too. He understands. I think really good scorers, one underrated part of their game is their ability to be able to get to the free throw line to generate points and to really get themselves going.
Fourth foul on Miro Little. Remember when Hall was off to the slow start? He's now got 17. Nine for 10 from the line. 12 of his 18 here in the second half. And a steal, Darius Johnson with the quick hands. And Johnson glides in.
And that's what he does. I mean, we talk about his offense all the time, but Darius Johnson could have easily been a candidate for all defensive Big 12 team with the way that he guards and the way that he gets in the passing lane.
Zach Keller denied by Mustafa Cham. Cham down low, takes the body and one. Foul on Zach Keller. Just when you thought Utah was shoving their way back in, King, UCF, a response.
And this is just good defense. The guards being active on the top of that zone. Then in the pick and roll, Keyshawn Hall drops it off to Cham. Cham gets the angle, gets the bucket and flexes to the camera.
Mustafa Cham nails the free throw. He's got 14 tonight. Has shown his versatility, his ability to shoot the three. He's also got 9 rebounds. Lawson Lovering missing. And UCF controls, and Cham with a double-double. Well, you think Johnny Dawkins is ecstatic that Cham decided to reclassify and enroll early?
He's been so huge for them this year. I don't think he gets enough credit because UCF didn't have the level of success that other teams had. When you look at him, when you look at Keyshawn Hall, these are guys that don't get talked about enough, but production is up there with the best of them.
Lawson Lovering to miss, got it back. Lovering can't convert again inside.
And Lovering is really struggling with Cham's length and Cham's size. And Cham is an elite level rim protector. And we're seeing it on display the past few possessions.
Seven straight for UCF after Utah cut it to 9. Drawing contact, a foul before the shot is Jordan Ivy Curry driving. And Miro Little is fouled out with 6:47 to go.
He is the leading scorer in the Big 12. He's been phenomenal in the second half. But it started with the defense. The defense of UCF has perpetuated their offense to be this good.
Miro Little is fouled out. Jordan Ivy Curry at the line. And this has been a nice bonus for UCF tonight. They didn't have Ivy Curry in each of the last 2 games, and Johnny Dawkins wasn't sure if they were going to have him tonight. He really didn't go through shoot-around here inside the arena yesterday. And he's come off the bench. He has 2 quick threes, and he's got 15 points.
With the way that he's playing, maybe he shouldn't go through shoot-around for the rest of the year.
And a steal by Neil Spahovsky. And a 4-on-2 for UCF. Powering his way to the basket. 20 for Keyshawn Hall.
And you see the strength right there by Keyshawn Hall. Getting the defender out of the way.
10-0 run for UCF after Utah cut it to 9. And the putback, Keanu Dawes, a career night for Dawes. 19 points and 14 rebounds. Both career bests.
I'll tell you one thing, he's given everything that he has on this floor.
Utah not having Ezra Asar available tonight. But as you talked about, King, the real adjustment that seemed to spark UCF was Johnny Dawkins switching defenses.
It was the defensive side of things that changed everything for him, but Keyshawn Hall, look at this right here. The strength to bump off the defender, stay balanced, and just go straight up.
Slow start, but tremendous second half for Keyshawn Hall. Approaching 5.5 minutes to go. And the winner plays Kansas late tomorrow night. Gabe Madsen, 3. His first made field goal of the night, and the 308th career made 3 in a Utah uniform for Gabe Madsen.
And they've done a really good job of limiting his attempts. He really hasn't even taken that many.
Keanu Doss missing. Offensive rebound loss, and Lovering denied. And coming out of the pack, Darius Johnson. Smart basketball from the Knights there.
Very, very great awareness right there. To not try to force something bad. To get a decent look.
Niels Mahovsky missing the 3. The Utes have one run in them to get back into the game. Gabe Madsen gets free, and he's hit back-to-back threes, and if he gets going, he can bring Utah back.
He does such a good job. Talk about moving without the basketball, and his ability to be able to just turn his toe on the drop of a dime. Look at this right here. Good shooters find ways to get open. And Madsen, this is about as good as they come.
Third foul on Gabe Madsen. And a double bonus means 2 shots for Darius Johnson. 81% foul shooter. First trip to the line for Johnson tonight. And the senior, look, that was one of the easiest recruiting efforts that Johnny Dawkins ever could make. Getting Darius Johnson. He's known Darius Johnson since he was born. And one of Johnny Dawkins' closest friends is Darius's dad, Kelvin, who's the special assistant to the head coach at UCF. They were in each other's weddings.
That was easy money there.
Yeah.
That was solidified from the jump.
They've known each other, Johnny and Kelvin Johnson, since they were in grade school, elementary school, playing against each other. Interior passing, and Keanu Doss the flush. 21 for Dawes. Jump ball, arrow to Utah. And a turnover with 3:33 to go. Utah trying to make one last push. Down 11 to UCF.
Sneaky good.
Wes Miller and the Bearcats, they need that one.
Especially with the way they played today. I mean, they played really, really, really well. And the way that Josh Reed is able to give them a lift, a boost on the offensive side, if he can do that tomorrow, I think they have a really good chance to beat Iowa State.
Lawson Lovering over the top. And again, Utah gets into single digits. Jordan Ivy Curry will slow it up.
Could have had Hall on a layup right there, but right now the clock is your friend. It's in your favor.
Keyshawn Hall. second pick from behind, but UCF keeps it alive. Darius Johnson, 5 to shoot. Lost the ball, picked up by Chomp, kick out, and a 3. Rattles out, but the rebound, UCF grabs it as Niels Mahovsky had it spin out. But the hustle from the Knights, and a fresh 20. Mahovsky again, wide open, 3! And he throws his hands up about time.
And that's why he's on the floor. His ability to knock it down from deep, the spacing that he provides gives you another shooter to where teams can't help off of him.
10 for 24 from 3 tonight, UCF. Hunter Erickson missing a 3. And the rebound tipped around, loose, and Utah gets it back. And a kick will keep it with Utah, and they'll put 20 on the shot clock. Gabe Madsen threw it away. A lazy pass went right to Niels Mahovsky. They content to run some more clock, the Knights. Darius Johnson into the lane. Johnson to the bucket. 20 for Johnson tonight.
He's just picking up where he left off. The last 4 games, he's been phenomenal. 27 in the last 4. He's had a really sneaky, underrated season, too.
I will mention all Big 12 for Darius Johnson. And a foul with a minute 8 to go, and UCF trying to put the finishing touches on this one.
Keyshawn Hall got snubbed from first team and making Utah pay. Doing it from everywhere. Showing us his high-flying ability. He's been terrific, but when you can get Curry, when you can get Hall, when you can get Johnson and Chom, all to have the level of production in which they had on the offensive side tonight, this UCF team can be extremely hard to beat.
Johnny Dawkins told me the key is for us to get a 3rd score. He's got 4 tonight. As Hunter Erickson to lay 13-point game with under a minute. And the foul on Keanu Dawes, his first, will send Keyshawn Hall back to the line. But for UCF, they didn't panic. They've been in this situation before in terms of being down double digits. And for Johnny Dawkins, they finish this one off. It'll be the 6th time this season that UCF has trailed by double figures and come back and won.
That's what happens when you have veteran leadership in your backcourt, like a Darius Johnson, like a Ivy Curry. I mean, these guys have been here before. They understand what it takes to win at this level. And tomorrow, if they pull this off and they end up playing Kansas, they're going to need guys to step up and make shots. Because you know this building will be rocking. It will be filled with blue. You will basically be on the road. Been there, done that. Didn't have success. But you have to be able to make shots and keep the crowd out of the game.
And for Hall, leaves with 23 points tonight. His 15th 20-plus point game of the season, which is most in the Big 12.
And he's a second team all Big 12.
And 17 in the second half as the 3 is off from Gabe Madsen.
That's thoroughly disappointed in that.
And a turnover by UCF. And our player of the game brought to you by Phillips 66. Keyshawn Hall finished with 23, also 5 assists for Hall. And the really interesting thing about the 23 points, only 10 field goal attempts tonight.
I mean, he was extremely efficient, but did a really good job of getting to the free throw line. That's what started his night off. He got to the free throw line, then he ended up hitting that corner 3 into the half, and he got going from there. But good scores find ways to get to the free throw line. You see 1 or 2 go in, and then it causes you to have a big night.
UCF trailing by as many as 12 in the first half of this one. They have now won 4 of their last 6 games, and will have a date with Kansas tomorrow night to wrap up day 2. The Big 12 Men's Basketball Championship. Tremendous second half, though, for Johnny Dawkins and UCF.
It was the defense that